Hi YouTube. This is my fourth live broadcast, live stream. I wanted to share um, um, two very special souls. And this is Oxley's. She was our bearded dragon, who only lived about a year and a half, and then she ate um, toxic flower in our yard and died 4 days later. And then here's I can't open this one. I'm not sure why it's sealed shut, but and then here's Whistler. He just got a plastic thing, and his remains are inside. And Whistler was no less my son than my human daughter was my daughter. And he was a teeny 1 pound bearded dragon, and I miss him every day. Hey, buddy. You can see little hints of orange in here. And here's a little print that we made of his feet and hands the day that he died. We wanted to be able to hold his hand sometimes. My wife missed him too, and I'm not supposed to talk about that. It just comes out, you know. That's the thing about how do you not violate that? Yeah, so I'm actually facing 3 criminal trials right now. I'm facing up to well, I'm already in. They haven't started, but I'm facing up to 3 years in prison. hmm And nothing, not for anything climate related. Well, there is an element to the story that could be, yeah, relatively associated with that. Hmm. So there's my new bearded dragon down there. Hi, buddy. Um, he's a rescue. Can't see his face, can you? Morgan. He's about 2.5, and he has MBD. Hey, buddy. Come here. And those who follow my OnlyFans, they would know my chatbot. My third chatbot already. Hey, hey, big guy. See, he has a MBD, so therefore he can't he can't close his mouth all the way. But it's cute. You see him from the side. He has a big underbite. It's not too bad. Um, Bearded dragons who have MBD, metabolic bone disease, it can affect them in really bad ways, to where they have basically like scoliosis, where their back will stick out in strange places, or they can't walk. But he's fine. He can eat normally, and he's just got a funny face, and that's fine. I like him a lot. We've only known each other for about a week now, but we've been bike riding together. And he makes friends so quickly. Um, for those of you who are dealing with, anxiety, especially if you're having issues um, around people, he can really open you up. These guys, they have an amazing ability. Hmm. the person I'm not allowed to talk to you about would have called it their dragon power. And he's my 5th bearded dragon. He was surrendered to me by an ex-client who obviously wasn't taking a very good job of him. You're cold, buddy. You need to go sit under the sun. Hi. They're just great. And they'll just hang out with you all day, especially this one. He loves it. He loves being out of his cage. Okay, I'm gonna put you under the light, okay? Oh, a cricket found its way onto his bed. Yeah, so, for those who've been following Only the Planet Matters for a year or so, you would have known that I had planned to start an OnlyFans. And I did that. At one point, I had 2 OnlyFans, but they're both gone now. I'm back down to 0. So, but those who know my OnlyFans know Chatbot. This is my 3rd Chatbot. He's Chatbot 3.0. And I just love this guy. He does his little flutters for me. Hey. Hey, Chatbot. Hi, buddy. What is that? What did I bring? I brought the computer. He's interested in the computer. Yes, what did I bring? Can you see yourself? Maybe I'll make it bigger so he can see. Can I do that? Yes, I can. Woo! He might get angry at himself, though. Hey, buddy. Hey, you. You are the cutest fish ever. And he's the 3rd one that I had, and I really love him. He's my favorite one so far. Um, he's got such a goofy personality. He's always like dancing for me, or he'll do things to show off. Like if I go near him, he'll be like, "Okay, I gotta do the show," and then he'll swim underneath like his plant and stuff, and do all sorts of fun water acrobatics. Is that the word? So, Wes, put you guys away. So yeah, so you may have seen if you looked at my my last 2 YouTube shorts, or perhaps my TikTok. I'm struggling with parental alienation. And that's all I can say. Without tacking on, I don't know, another year of charges. It's insane. You you really wouldn't believe it if I told you. It doesn't sound believable. Every time I explain it to people, they're like, "What are you not telling me?" I know, that's the point. And they're like, "Wait, what do you mean? That doesn't make any sense." I'm like, "Yes, I know. That's what I'm telling you." And they're like, "What? Well, that makes even less sense." I was like, "I know. That's what I'm telling you. It doesn't make any sense." But it doesn't matter. You got to look up the family court system. It's a crime syndicate. I'm dead serious. It's a crime syndicate. Organized crime. And done in full view of the law. Maybe I'll post some links that you can see. Because apparently my situation is not at all unique. It's happening on a massive national scale, and yet no one is allowed to talk about it. I can tell you why. It's because they put gag orders on you so that you can't expose the system, you can't whistleblow, which, if you've been following this account, you would know is kind of like whistleblowing is my thing. You know, like, um, so I had lost my loan because of what I am dealing with. My loan to purchase property in Michigan or Minnesota, whatever. I hadn't really decided yet. Um, it was going to be on the Great Lakes, but if you've been watching my channel, you would know that. So, unfortunately, my plans kind of got put on hold indefinitely, especially because I haven't found anyone to support this channel. So, if you're still interested, you could still help out. I mean, I'm not doing anything right now. I could literally just do this all day, if I could find someone, some people willing to support me. Um, and I think some of you think I got a unique voice, and I appreciate that. If you don't mind going to my Patreon, you could really help me out. Maybe we can get this actually done at some point. But I've been so busy in this last year because of what I'm dealing with. It has been so emotionally taxing. I've never experienced pain like this. That's why I got a tattoo that I'm not at all happy with. All the way from my back to my what is this, deltoid? I don't want to show it to you. It sucks. I did it so that I could feel pain, so that what I am experiencing on a daily basis didn't feel so hard. I wanted a lot of color. I chose the entire thing as colored. So it was 4.5 hours, and I'd never had a tattoo before. Never really wanted one, but I did. I just wanted to feel something other than what I was feeling. And it did work for a little bit. I was definitely distracted for 4.5 hours. I didn't think about what was happening to me at all. It was way more painful than I anticipated. Wow. Way more painful. I knew it was going to hurt, but I mean, especially this area, like right around the back, your like kind of rib cage. Ugh, does not feel good in this area. I mean, this hurt, but compared to the areas without muscle on them, whew, I think I was sweating blood. um, oh. It's a reptile. It's a dinosaur. It's a stegosaurus. It's a stegosaurus going through a time warp to come back to life from its skeletal structure. And I should have just, well, for one, I just chose the wrong guy. But, you know, live and learn. I think that's why people get multiple tattoos, because they're not happy with the first one and they want to cover it up. And then by then it's just like, oh, just got to cover everything now. Otherwise, I'm out of balance. I actually, in March, one of my best friends, one of his best friends, who I've met many times over the years, um, he lost, he and his wife and daughter, I think, they lost their house in a Santa Cruz fire. And then because the prices are so inflated, you know, uh, the insurance only covered the um, the amount of equity that they had in the house at the time, you know, at the value of whenever it was appraised. So they gave him a bunch of cash, but they can't buy anything with it because of the inflation. And we're at like 140% or something of what like prices were just 4 years ago, um, which is nuts. Imagine if you bought a house for $200,000 and now to buy it back, you gotta come up with an extra 80,000. And in California, even in Santa Cruz, you know, you're not getting anything for 200 grand. But out here in New Mexico, you could have. Not anymore. Not anymore. I just lost a client because he's like, he doesn't see the point in buying what he can afford, and I don't blame him. I have to write him back. Shit, that was yesterday. Um, that was impolite, and he's really nice. Um, David. He is a. Where is he from? He's a singer, like sort of pop singer, and I watched a bunch of his um, videos. I like him actually. I can't make it out. It's so little on my phone for some reason. Um, Whatever. I think he's like from Uganda or something. You don't see too many Africans out here in New Mexico, so immediately I was like, oh, I want to start talking to this guy. and uh, and then we ended up, of course, because you know this is how I dress outside, so it tends to come into conversation. Um, I wonder if he'd let me. No, I couldn't play it. Even with his permission, I couldn't play it. Um, hmm. So, I recommend it though. Check him out. I liked. I think it was Nani Zika was the song. Yeah. Anyway, now I sound like Joe Biden. Anyway, let's Let's take a look at some politicking. Bah. If you know anyone going through parental alienation, oh wow, my own thing is coming up in the top left corner here. um, I very highly recommend you send them to this girl's channel, Madison something. What she's doing is very important. Wow, she's already gotten like 400 subscribers in the last couple of days. Um, she's she's basically exposing the whole system. This will definitely give you a hard. This one was hard to watch. Yeah. So she's a child of parental alienation, and she learned that her mother had been lying about her father for her entire life, and she missed out on 20 years of her father and her father's love, and then finally they came back together, and now she doesn't talk to her mother. Probably never will again, which is sad, but let's just say I relate to it. Thanks, Madison. Okay. Prosecutors will hang him. Now, if they've already got that, where was the thing that I wanted to watch? Library. Oh gosh. Should we even bother? So I gave Adam Schiff. This is a true story. I received a response from him, and he admitted that in the first impeachment trial of Trump, that my idea would have held the Republicans accountable, but he didn't do it. He didn't do it, and sure enough, the impeachment didn't mean shit because they acquitted him in the Senate. Which, you know, I don't know why people don't listen to me. I told them it was going to happen like that, and so what my idea was to have all of the Democratic senators, the 48 senators, and then 2 independents, Bernie and I forget the other guy's name, have them all agree to go undergo a polygraph test, to state that what they believed was that Trump had committed what was the high crimes and misdemeanors, and and then they sign off. They don't have to take the polygraph. It just says that they agree to take a polygraph test, and then they all sign that paper, and then they pass that challenge off to the Republicans. And the Republicans then have to either agree that to take a polygraph test, proving that they believe the dumb shit that they were saying, or have to explain to their constituents why the Democrats were willing to sign that promise to take the test, and they were not willing to take the test. And I told my mother that, who has done a couple of fundraising campaigns for Adam Schiff, and she's like, "That's a fucking amazing idea." And my mom doesn't think, she thinks I'm an idiot. So getting her on board was nice to hear from once for once. And so she didn't tell him directly. She could have, but she's like, "I'm going to tell the campaign manager." So she told the campaign manager, and the campaign manager agreed. That's an amazing idea. And so she told him, and then he responded to that. And I didn't get his email directly. I got the email from his campaign manager saying that that would absolutely hold the Republicans accountable. But sure enough, he didn't take my word for it, and Trump got away with it. And he's still getting away with it now. I mean, they're still calling it. He's still calling it impeachment hoax number 1 of 2. So fuck you, Adam Schiff, you fucking needle neck piece of shit. It would have worked. You know? They could have literally gone to, their the Republican senator's constituents and said, like, listen, these people don't represent you. They're lying to you. They either failed that polygraph test or they refused to take it because they knew they couldn't pass. Don't trust them. Like, they don't have your interests at heart. They don't care about you. They don't give a fuck. They would have lost a shit ton of seats. We would have probably been able to keep the House too. Fictional world. You don't know. Son of a bitch. Okay. Oh yeah, no, that's right. I wanted to watch Michael Moore on the UAW. I haven't watched this yet. Was this it?
Lots to talk about tonight with Michael Moore, the Oscar-winning documentary filmmaker, and who is also a union supporter with deep family ties to the UAW. Michael, as I just mentioned, Donald Trump.
What's the name of it? Is it Roger and Me? Is that the one? The first documentary that made him famous. I used to hate him back then because I was obsessed with Fox News and I believed every dumb thing that they told me. But I wasn't very smart myself.
Trump a primetime speech in Detroit to an audience of union members. Is this a publicity stunt?
Yes, and one that he's hoping that the news media will cooperate with him in the stunt. It's all it is. I mean, the working people of this country, I think, understand what Trump did during his 4 years for the working people. Nothing. What he did do was pass one of the largest tax breaks
One thing that he did that was kind of fun. My mom went and saw him during the last election cycle. Last year? Was that when it was? November? Must have been, right? Yeah. And in New York, he was doing a one-man show. I don't know if that sounds exciting or not, but on Broadway. And then at the end of the show, he actually hired a coach and a coach bus and brought people of the audience to polling booths, which was pretty cool after the show. So, what do they say? Think locally, act locally. I think globally, act locally. Yeah.
ever. That's who benefit. That's who benefited when Donald Trump was in the White House. This thing, him going to Detroit, wow. I mean, I don't know. It's,
Who, Trump?
I mean, maybe it proves he has a weird sense of humor because
What about
he's not gonna get the support of the auto workers there.
Well, I
So
mean, historically, Trump has had more support, at least among rank and file union members, than perhaps union leadership.
mhm.
This was definitely a factor in the 2016 election, especially. Could people be missing a hidden appeal here? I mean, he's not doing this because he thinks that there's nothing there.
Yeah, in 2016, he was a very
Tell you
popular
that
TV show celebrity.
I'm not gonna
I don't
show
know if you ever saw it, The
you.
Apprentice.
Sucks.
It was,
Back is
it
okay.
was an interesting and entertaining show, and people voted for him. And then they found out what they got from him, which is nothing. And in fact, he destroyed the EPA. He packed the Supreme Court with people who are going to take the rights of women away. I mean, go on and on and on. So when people had a chance to vote again, they already didn't give him the popular vote the first time. The second time, Biden won in a mini landslide,
Morgan.
7 million votes. So they didn't want Trump. They booted him out, and that's probably what he's facing this time, assuming he's
UAW
wins
boot him
the election.
booted him
Yeah.
out,
Oh,
or
but by the way, I should mention one
or
of the things that
Michigan.
Trump and a lot of Republicans are trying to say here
Yeah.
is that electric vehicles
UAW.
are the real problem. And they're really pushing that
Maybe just
argument as a reason for workers to hold out for more
Wow.
concessions
Okay,
because they believe
that's wrong.
they're being thrown under the bus in a quote, in their words, an electric vehicle agenda. Do you think that there's a legitimate argument there?
Absolutely not. First of all, there's a whole different discussion you can have about electric vehicles
Yeah.
as to what the
Thank you.
problems are, but they're not the problems Trump's talking about. Trump is trying to once again scare people. China's the enemy, et cetera, et cetera. This has nothing to do. This is a struggle, this fight, this strike right now over the fact that in 2009, the government under Barack Obama and Joe Biden asked the auto workers to please cut their pay, cut their benefits, cut their pensions, so that GM and Chrysler
Yeah, I heard that
and
recently.
Ford, but Ford didn't take the federal money. He asked that they cut their money, and they promised the auto workers that that if you help us,
Yeah.
we will reward you for that. You will get this back. It is now almost 15 years later.
Mm.
And any new hire in 2009, thanks to what the UAW at the time agreed to, was making $15.48 an hour.
Jesus.
Any of those new hires who hired in 09 and any new hire that hired in last year, their paycheck this past Friday was $15.48 an hour, the same amount of money. And here's the thing, Abby, you can only humiliate people for so long. And to humiliate the workers like this, they sacrificed so that these auto companies who drove themselves into the ground, went bankrupt, they said, we will help, we will give all this up. And they said, thank you, we will make sure you get it back. Well, they never got it back. So they have been hoodwinked, and they are not going to give up this fight. And in fact, I got to say, the union has been very generous this week. They could have shut the whole thing down on Thursday night. They only shut down 3 factories as a little flare over the bow to let the car makers know that they have the power to crush them. They will shut the whole thing down, and not just 150,000 of UAW workers who would go on strike. This will shut down thousands of companies.
There's the argument though that Bill Maher made about the Writers Guild Union, where is that? I think he was talking with Jim Gaffigan, and he's got a great point. It's a little bit like the dinosaurs suing the Ice Age. I mean, because technology, when it adapts, people lose out. That's just that's what happens. Innovators, they destruct, and disruption is, that's the whole name of the game. That's why That's why you're always innovating so that you can come up with that fix that everyone wants, you know? If you could just come up with that $1 million idea, that fix for some stupid thing, like a clap on, you know? Like, God forbid we had to get up and use the light switch, right? People think about those sorts of things. Inventors think about those things all the time. I think about those things. I'm always coming up with weird inventions and shit. I tried to patent a couple. So, um, so yeah, I mean, the writers, what they're going through, with streaming being the new, you know, media platform, the juggernaut of the film industry, um, and you know, film at one point. All the different studios were split up. I mean, you could only work for one studio if you were an actor. You couldn't go from RKO to MGM or whatever, you know? Um, so things change, and you have to make those adjustments as things change because, you know, the whole medium has changed. How we deliver this shit to the audience. I mean, no one goes to a theater anymore. Um, I hate it. I I wish we could. I'm. You mean see how lonely I am, right? Last thing I want to do is watch a movie by myself. But that's that's where things are going. Um, you know, the market responds to the consumer. The consumer seems to like this, and I'm just this weird guy who doesn't like pretty much anything that the majority of people like. You know, um, that's been my whole life that way. And you know, streaming services. That's just where we're going. I'm using a streaming service right now. I'm listening to a streaming service right now. It's crazy. I don't have to have an agent to do this. I mean, in a sense, you know, YouTube is my agent, but it's all self-promoted stuff. I mean, it's not working for me. If you could share, if you're watching this, I've seen that my last couple of videos, they've gone up about 2 followers each one. So I keep thinking to myself that, you know, if I just keep this up, if I do a video a day or something like that, maybe in a year I could have 25,000 followers. That'd be a nice goal. Um, I think that's reasonable. I could probably do one of these a day. Um, Especially if a couple of you would help out on my Patreon. Um, hmm, yeah, no, it's you know, automation doesn't really affect the majority of our jobs. It affects the jobs that have already been lost to overseas hiring, to outsourcing of employment. Um, those are the jobs that are going to be lost to AI, at least in the near future. You know, the tech support people or um, God, website builders calling me fucking 4 times a day from Pakistan. Hey, those are the people whose jobs are in the very immediate future going to be at risk of of losing their employment to AI. Frankly, AI could do a better job of pretending that they're local than these people do right now. Hey, buddy. Um, so losing business to China. Um, Trump. I mentioned this some days ago. I think when I did my first live broadcast, that he raises a point. He doesn't make the argument very well, but um, as Michael Moore is saying, I mean, in a way, they're arguing the exact same point, but just from two different sides. Um, uh, Trump says that if they strike, the union is the auto manufacturers are just going to outsource those jobs to China, and yes, that's true. That's why we need unions. um, we need unions to make sure that shit, like, they lobby for that stuff to penalize companies that do those sorts of things. But um, but Bill Maher makes the same argument. It's like the dinosaur suing the Ice Age. Um, and then what is it that he says?
Well, they never got it back, so they have been hoodwinked.
Yeah. So, and then even still, he's saying that they, even if they abide by the rules of these organizations and trust them, they're still going to get hoodwinked. So they have no choice. This is why I've been trying to get realtors to unionize for pretty much since the beginning of me becoming a realtor. I ran one of my many groups that I tried to build, but it didn't pick up, and I ended up getting in trouble with the National Association of Realtors for using their name in my logo instead of trying to help. The fucking NAR, their concern is the fact that I referred to my group as the Realtor Union of America or something like that. What I don't know. I had to change it. So whatever it was, United Realtors of America, I think is what Mike came up with, and they didn't let me use that. Hello, you fucking totally missing the point. They sold us out so long ago too. National Association of Realtors. We're not. We're. It's just an association. It's total bullshit. You don't even have to join to be a realtor. He's got his mouth open. You see him? Hey. So we don't have a union. We don't have a system designed to protect us from automation. So Zillow, in Albuquerque, we're New Mexico, and we're a non-disclosure state, meaning that the prices that houses actually close for is not public information. So you, as a member of the public, is not privy to know what a house is actually valued at. That's private information. That's realtors' intellectual property. To be honest. So in a way, it's not actually true, but it's like it's kind of true. Um, so but that's how we protect ourselves in this state. Most states are disclosure states, and Zillow, they show you the Zestimate that tells you what it thinks your house is worth. Well, in California, those numbers are calculated down to the dollar. So um, uh, they know very accurately what a house is worth in California. Whereas here in New Mexico, because we're non-disclosure, they're basing the prices, the values of the house based off whatever people list it for. You know, you can list your house for anything. If your house is worth $500,000, you can list it for $1 million. It's not going to go anywhere. Nothing's going to happen to it. Like, no one's going to come and look at it because you're dumb and like they know that you're not serious about selling, so it's not going to sell. But that's going to screw up the estimates in your area because it's like, oh, okay, these other houses are worth 500,000, but this one's worth a half. This one's worth an extra $500,000. So I guess these $500,000 houses are actually worth now also $1 million, or or that maybe they'll split the difference and say that they're all worth 750. So the Zestimate was our way of like advertising to potential sellers. Like, that's not accurate. We have the accurate information. You do not. Zillow does not. However, our association, our local association now, the Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors, as well as NAR, which had long since allowed Zillow to destroy our industry. But we were protected in New Mexico because we were a non-disclosure state. And then GAR, Greater Albuquerque Association of Realtors, allowed Zillow to join our MLS association. So we actually, if you look up online, I'll show you to you. If you go on to our MLS, I haven't had a client, so I haven't logged in a while. So, Zillow. Now I'm searching for an office. Okay? So this is telling me this is a member of our board now. Zillow Incorporated. They allowed Zillow to join our local association so that there's 3. Yeah, it's still 3. The first time I looked at this was like 4 years ago. And there were 3 then. And all 3, oh, I guess not. But there's no local telephone numbers. Ridiculous. But yeah, I was telling people that all 3 of them, and I guess I was wrong, I thought that they were all local to Seattle. Christopher Long, Shadesia? Huh. And Joshua Murdoch. But yeah, so we have on our MLS, they now have access to all of the prices that houses close for. So now our estimate is very accurate because they went in and manually input all of that data as it was coming in. We probably sell, at any given time, we have about, right now I should have just checked, but about 1,700 houses on that MLS system, which is really low. It's about 30% of our average inventory for this time of the year. So now they know when those houses close what they'll be worth, and now our estimate is balls to the wall accurate, just like it is in every other disclosure state, which is so fucked up that our association, because we don't have a goddamn union, allows for this kind of dumb shit to happen. But it's all about money. Ultimately, the customer, the client, the consumer doesn't give a fuck about professionalism. These realtors, these Trump realtors, they all think that if we're professional enough, then that's going to distinguish us from like Zillow. Fuck you, you idiot! You have no idea what the customer wants is convenience and affordability. They want to pay as little as possible and get the most possible. That's just in everything. That's every consumer on on the planet. And so if Zillow is the only one who can sell a house because they've lobbied the government to make them the only place that allows people to sell a house through, if they sell 100% of houses, and why wouldn't they? If, like, let's say they offered a listing fee of $1, and you as a realtor who lives on 3% and 2.5% in some cases in some states, fuck you if you're taking less. You're an idiot. You're a scab. But you know, most of us aren't surviving right now. Most of us, because there's a 30% of the inventory and we're a commission-based job, that means 70% of realtors are out of work. And we can't get unemployment benefits because we're all independent contractors. We don't get health benefits. We don't get anything. We don't get retirement. You got a 401k. We're hand to mouth, you know? And you think that the customer is going to give a fuck about paying you 3% and your cooperating broker another 3% when they can pay Zillow $1, let's say? You know, because if Zillow operates their entire website with like a skeleton crew and like AI is doing the majority of the maintenance and you just got fucking 10 people just making sure that the AI doesn't go rampant in Pakistan, then we don't need realtors. And that's 3 million fucking Americans out of work. What are those people going to do? If you're not going to give them socialism, our whole fucking system, our whole society is falling apart and no one fucking cares. 3 million Americans are realtors. Almost. I think it might be 2 and something. 2.1. Yeah, I don't think it's 3. I think it's 2.1. Let me look. Oh, okay. 3 million. Oh, I guess so. According to a November of last year report. See? Home sales consistently fallen. Down 2.4% from March to April. Third month in a row. This means people aren't making money. And then we're complaining about these migrants not being able to get work visas. You know, I get that, like, socialism can be a drain on taxes or society or whatever you want to say. But, like, if you give these people employment, you allow them to join your economy, that means that they too become consumers, right? So they can go out and buy shit. They can go out to restaurants, you know? Like, yeah, the lines are going to be longer, but there's going to be more demand, so more businesses are going to open. And of course, when more businesses open, that means the lines get shorter again, you know? Like, I don't know if I needed to say that. I just tacked it on. I mean, I was thinking it. Seemed obvious. I wasn't sure if it was obvious, though. These fucking conservative talking points are so short-sighted. They're so dumb. I never found out exactly what the number is. But anyway, it's a large amount of people that are going to be all of a sudden out of work the moment that Zillow completely takes over our industry. And that's what's going to happen because we don't have a fucking union. And we are about to go out of work. All of those people. So, yeah, have a union. It's better to have a union. It's better to risk losing those jobs to China. It is. Because at least we know already that our way, not having union, doesn't work. So it's not to say that it's going to work with a union, but at least you have some protection.
And they are not going to give
Oh,
up this
I
fight.
already.
In fact, I got people who live in the towns around the auto industry. This will be catastrophic for the economy. And they are lucky that the UAW is still giving them a few more
What else
days
was I going to talk about?
to pony up.
Can I ask you to just to respond to this from
Got
Republican
it.
presidential candidate Tim Scott? He was asked today
My thing
by a
here?
voter
Oh, here.
about how he
Thwarted
would respond to
plans.
the strike.
Ronald Reagan gave us a great example when federal employees decided they were going to strike.
Whoa. There's one person watching, or is that me?
Simple concept to me.
It's
I just
me.
said that we could use that once again. Absolutely.
If you strike, you're fired. Your response?
How un-American can you get to say something like that? I mean, we built the middle class in this country. Those of us from my family, the auto workers in my family, all the workers around this country.
Parental
Through
alien.
their
I
strikes,
talked about that.
everybody got better pay. They got some
talked about
time off. They got to go to the doctor. All these
I guess
things that created the middle class, and the next generation could go to college. And to praise Ronald Reagan, who kicked off those of us from my family, the auto workers in my family, all the workers around this country. Through their strikes, everybody got better pay. They got some time off. They got to go to the doctor. All these things that created the middle class, and the next generation could go to college. And to praise Ronald Reagan, who kicked off the disaster we're still living with when he did completely destroy the air traffic controllers union in '81. Why would, I don't know. I'm so sorry that he said that, because it reminds me, I and a bunch of others went to an annual meeting of the shareholders at General Motors many, many years ago. And we stepped up into the microphone and we asked, do you consider yourselves an American company? And they wouldn't answer the question. Well, would you mind anybody on the board of directors of GM who's standing, they're all on the stage. Would you mind standing with us right now and saying the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America? And no, we will not do that. We are an international global corporation. Well, that's very honest. Thank you for making that clear. The American people need to know that you don't really give a rat's whatever about us. You care about your own pockets. You care about getting wealthier and wealthier. And this year alone, you've already made over $21 billion in record profits, the three car companies. So this is all, listen, the people have had it, not just those who work in the car factories. The people who have not seen their wages go up at the rate that they should go up.
Oh, that seems weird to me.
That's why they can't handle the inflation that we had last year.
And that's why we're seeing those strikes, not just here, but also in Hollywood and in other industries as well.
At Chipotle.
There's a lot that is brewing here in this economy. Michael Moore, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Abby.
I mean,
if it's Wednesday, dysfunction and paralysis reach a...
If we're talking about Chipotle, which I don't go to because it's fucking terrible, but if I liked it, I would much rather a fucking robot made my burrito than a human. Robots are going to be cleaner. They're going to be more reliable. They're going to, especially as a business owner, that's a lot easier. You can serve those things fucking probably 24 hours a day, you know? Yeah. I could totally see that, those people are going to lose their jobs People in certain service industries are going to start to lose their jobs. Um, Folding tortillas is a monotonous, boring thing all day, doing the same motion. Scooping, guacamole is 50 cents extra. Yeah. Lo-fi girl. For some reason, they did this one for this month is a Lego character. And they made the girl a Lego. Can I show it? I think I can show it. I'm not sure. Thing about lo-fi, I mean, you're supposed to it's supposed to be copyright free. So, I had mentioned my brother is Christian Slater. I don't really talk about that. I told him he's a piece of shit yesterday. First time I messaged him in 5 years. And I sent it to him via video message, and I saw that it was watched 3 times. Piece of shit. Um, so I would say I have a pretty unique perspective when it comes to celebrity shit, but I wasn't going to talk about any of the Russell Brand stuff because I kind of already did. Yeah. But one of my favorite movies of my brother's is Pump Up the Volume. And my uncle, he's not my uncle, he's his uncle. We have different dads. Um, he said my Only the Planet Matters videos remind him of his character in Pump Up the Volume, Happy Harry Hard-On. Which is probably that movie started, I'll bet you, not only my love of Leonard Cohen, but I think my love of lizards too. Oh, if you like dope movie soundtracks, just go and check that one out. It's amazing. Um, yeah, it's one of the best movie soundtracks. I ended up becoming friends with when I was working at a film distribution company, this Japanese film distribution company called 11 Arts. Hey, buddy. Um, I was working in festivals and trying to get my movies into those festivals. We had like a ton of different titles that we were always sending out. They were terrible. They were all awful. But yeah, I'd get in contact. I was the International Film Festival Coordinator, which was just some bullshit title that I made up. But my boss thought it was cool. And so, yeah, that's what I got to wear on my name tag. And I worked with film festivals around the world. I'd be regularly in touch with the the Taipei Golden Horse one. There was Jasper Sharp in the UK. He ran like a Japanese film festival. I met him one time in person. And so I kept in contact with these people, and then if we were ever doing marketing, sometimes we would want to sell in Variety magazine or Hollywood Reporter, and so I had a point person at the THR, and in Hong Kong, and I'm friends with her. I've met up with her, gone out with her like 3 times, I think, in LA, whenever she comes from Hong Kong. And when we first met, I just stayed in the office until probably like 11 or maybe midnight, talking with her internationally from Hong Kong, and about our love of the Pump Up the Volume soundtrack. um, uh, I don't think I can play any of it, but you should listen. You should watch the movie. And I'm going through a lot of, I mean, he was saying, my uncle was saying that like a year ago when things were going great. They were going great. We were happy. And she lost her mind. So, but the character portrayed by my brother, he is an outcast in school. He does not look like he's in high school, but I used to believe it because I used to watch. I've been watching that movie since I was like 8, so I guess I just thought that high school kids are 26 years old. Maybe he wasn't that old, but he would have been. Yeah, he would have been 21. I was on that set, the final scene set, out front of like the gym, with it where the helicopter is. I think I may have seen the helicopter scene being filmed. I know I was on the set though. Um, and so yeah, he's ostracized and doesn't communicate with any of his peers. And that's how he talks to people, is through his low frequency radio station that his dad put together for him, so that he could supposedly communicate with his friends back east, is what he says. Um, but he didn't think anyone was listening, and all of the teenagers who had ostracized him were listening. I got some really nice words of support on my TikTok from some nice people. I'd like to what? I'd like to recognize them for what they said. Oh wow, it's got 870. What I had posted to my YouTube Shorts, I also posted it to TikTok. One person saved it. I don't know why you would save it. Got 37 likes and 879 views, which is not bad for, having 70 subscribers. Ashley said, "I'm not sure if you have one or not, but if you don't, please get a pet." He's smiling. Hey, buddy. Thanks, Morgan. Thanks for being here with me, buddy. Thank you so much. I gotta get a picture of you. I'm gonna send this to the old owner to show her how happy he is. Elise. Okay. So, my dog saved my life 3 times. Today I am recovering. This too shall pass. And she gave me a heart. Thank you, Ashley. Thank you. I got one. He's great. It's only been not even a week yet, I don't think. I had, she had messaged me like around 10 o'clock at night, and I saw it. The subject says, of the email said, Bearded Dragon. I was like, what the fuck could this be? And, oh, your smile got bigger. And so I opened it, and it's this a second ex-client who also didn't buy a house, um, uh, surrendered a second bearded dragon to me, or wanted to. Asked me if I would be willing to take him, and I was like, I wrote her back immediately. I think I wrote her back at midnight. Like, yes, I will. And I asked for like a list of things, like vet history and, certain food likes and dislikes and places he likes to be pet, doesn't like to be pet, things like this, whatever. I asked for a long list of history, and she didn't know anything. Um, so, but he's doing well despite having MBD. He's a Petco beardy, big box store beardy, so they have a lot of congenial problems. But he just didn't have good care, and that was Petco's fault. I mean, they don't teach you anything. There's this talk about bad customer service. I mean, this in that respect, some of the Trump supporter realtors have a point. Yeah, having bad customer service does make a difference, especially in the quality of life of these animals, living, breathing creatures. And then rhymes with runt. Oh, goodness. She said, not broken, because I said I was damaged goods. She said, you are burnt out, untethered, but you are strong. Your coping mechanism may not be working anymore. I'm in therapy trying to build ones. Build ones? Oh. Someone liked it. I didn't like it yet. Then she goes on to say, I see you. You are worthy. I know you are exhausted, and that's valid, but you are worthy. Sending love your way. Thank you for this vid. Then Peter Sigmund. Do I know this person? Sounds familiar. He just said, just know you're not alone. Someone liked that too. Peterson. It's nice to know these are resonating with some people. There's a guy with a picture of McLovin. I guess I'll sign out. I should probably eat something. Time is at 6:36 Mountain Standard Time.